here on our Thursday morning, we now officially have Tropical Depression Wilma, according to the Philippine Meteorological Agency, also known as PAGASA. The low-level center is right about in here, just due east of Visayas. And once the cone does come out, I'm recording this prior to it coming out, it is going to likely indicate it tracking towards the west, kind of just like that. And then a re-emerging out here in the West Philippine Sea as we go ahead through the latter half of the weekend. But you can still see off towards the north, we have some fairly gusty winds, and this is really being sheared apart, but it's going to kind of squeeze that moisture on shore, kicking with some of the heaviest precipitation north of that center of circulation. You can even see that here with this imagery indicating where that low-level center is as we go ahead through our day here on Thursday. Low-level center coming on shore just around Leyte and Samar, but look where the highest winds are. They're well removed out here across southeastern areas of Luzon, and this is also where that moisture is getting squeezed and coming together, where you could be seeing some spots, especially across the Bicol region, seeing well over 300 millimeters of total rainfall. And once again, here's a look at this graphic, just showing you kind of how this is butting up against the shear line. North of that, very dry but exceptionally windy weather for much of Luzon from Manila north. That is at least till the end of the weekend when this all drifts off towards north. But the heaviest of the stuff is not so much in that low-level center. So don't get too carried away on any cone of air or anything like that. Of course, closer to center, it will be a bit windy, especially in the northern periphery of it. But then down towards Mindanao, you're not seeing too much bad weather. In fact, this graphic right here gives you kind of the side view of what I'm talking about here, with this coming on shore, crossing just around Leyte and Samar, with the right front quadrant really awakening the worst of the weather across the Bicol region, the places like Legazpi, Catanduanes, throughout the weekend. It's going to be messy. And then even as this crosses over towards the Sulu Sea, you can see how this whole line just slowly drifts off towards the north, increasing showers by Sunday and the Monday across Manila, and eventually by Monday and the Tuesday for northern Luzon. So until that happens, you're going to be staying dry, but rather windy for those areas. I like this side graphic, gives you a different perspective of these storm systems and the Philippines in general. We always use this north to south. It's kind of interesting sometimes showing how, if you look at it from this way, it just looks like the Philippines is right in line for these storm systems as they barrel in from the east here. Overall, here's another look at that shear line, though, as it lifts off towards the north. And then right here, we can kind of get a good idea of the amount of rainfall that is going to be taking place here, with the heaviest being down towards the south. But as that drifts off towards the north, you can see how the Sierra Madre is really going to pile up some heavy rainfall with 300 millimeters plus in a few spots with that. So yeah, this is still an ongoing storm system now, as I mentioned, a tropical depression. But at least if you take a look at the guidance, don't pay too close attention to that center line. It's all about that interaction with the shear line just north of the center, where you're going to see the heaviest in the conditions, the heaviest the rainfall, and the highest of the winds. And I like this graphic here on Friday, or actually Thursday, by Thursday night into Friday. You can see kind of where our low level center is going to come on shore here in Visayas right here. But these bottom graphics show you, one, the mid-level moisture, so you can see all that dry air over northern Luzon, and two, those gusty onshore conditions that are removed from the center. In fact, let's go ahead through Friday into Saturday, see how it crosses over the Philippines and then in the Sulu Sea. But look where the windiest of the weather is by this point in the bottom right graphic I show you right here. It's well all the way back towards the north into northern Luzon. So it really just shows this is kind of a hybrid type storm. The reason why it doesn't look too pretty on satellite imagery here, not very organized. We can even look at infrared. You can kind of see where the low level center actually is, right about in here, but we also can see how badly it's sheared back towards the north. And then you can even see those gustier winds coming in just like that across a good portion of northern Luzon. So a big rainmaker. Definitely 100% in the forecast for eastern areas of Visayas, southeastern Luzon. Not only rain, but you're also continuing to see these gusty conditions that could be at the gale force conditions. Not a super typhoon by any means. No one ever's going to say that. But still some rather rough weather. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta. As always, if you want to support this channel, 1, hit that subscribe button, and 2, continue to check back in and maybe help out on our Patreon page. If you might have noticed, this is my second update in about 2 hours, because my last one, I even started with saying, I think today we're going to have a named storm system, likely going to get Wilma just based on how we're seeing this. And now it officially has been named. So just figured I was here, threw on the jacket, got in front of the camera here, and gave you the latest update. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta. As always, thanks for stopping by, and of course, stay safe out there.